Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Tri-State Empower Hour. Of course, this is our weekly Saturday morning training where we bring you, the individual agent, the agency owner. We try to bring incredible value to you to go ahead and take your business to the next level, empowering you to do that. And today, I am super excited to have our first IUL guest. He's not only an expert in IULs, he's the master by far, but he's also a three-time Hall of Fame producer, Mr. Juan Franco. Juan, how are you, sir?
Pretty good, man. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited. First time I'm in a meeting room at 8 o'clock in the morning Central Time.
Oh, wow.
So you guys are brave, man. I think you got an amazing team. Just by my meetings are late at night, make it in the morning. So you guys got a good group right here. I love it.
Yeah, we're dedicated, man. The thing about that is you can always, we were talking earlier this week. Are you interested in success, or are you committed to success? We were talking about that on our weekly call, and everybody that's here at 8 o'clock in the morning Central, like you, or 9 o'clock Eastern, or we've got some that are here at 6 o'clock on the West Coast. They're truly committed, right?
Wow.
And I was remiss. Juan is also, he owns FFL One Culture. And so Juan, dude, we got to spend some time on the cruise, right? And I truly admire you from afar, and it's an honor to have you on the call. And before we get into the nuts and bolts of the IULs, we'd like to learn a little bit about you, man. Like, what were you doing before FFL? How did you find FFL? And how long have you been doing this now?
Yeah, so I'm actually we're in a total different industry. So I was in the fundraising industry. So I was helping schools raise money. So when you see people like buying cookie dough, that was me. That was the guy. If you bought cookie dough, that's probably from me. Mainly if you were in Texas. That was basically, we were the biggest cookie dough supplier in Texas, and nationwide we were at one time the largest one that was bringing cookie dough. So we were bringing a bunch of cookie dough salad through school. So that was good, but it's a seasonal business. And when COVID hit, in 2020, that was a year that basically all the schools shut down. And I was actually back home in Colombia, visiting my family during spring break. And then when I came back, President Trump says it's a pandemic, everything closed, all the schools canceled my contracts. So I had no money coming in. I knew it was going to be a while. So I kind of just sit down for about a month. I'm doing nothing. I'm like, trying, and when you're active, I'm always being active, and I wanted to play tennis. I wanted to do things. And it was kind of like, it was just walking down the neighborhood or something like that. And then so it was tough. And then so I started looking for something, and one of my clients, he basically was in the financial industries. He told me, I said, what exactly do you do? And he says, hey, you want me to tell you about a little bit what I do? I said, yeah. I'm very interested because I'm doing nothing here. I wanna do something. So she introduced me. It was a different type of setup, but it was kind of like something that was more like recruiting your friends and family, things like that. But the whole thing is I got introduced to life insurance, and I was like, wow, that's it. You just take a test and you're a life insurance agent. I always wanted to be in the future some type of sell life insurance in my country internationally, because I remember my brothers bought some of that. And then so I says, and I have several policies, but they were all term life. And it was kind of like that's all I knew. And I had no idea anything else. And then so when I first heard about that, I joined. I basically went recruited a bunch of people, but nobody was sticking, and it was just I learned basically that life insurance was a good thing, and that I wanted to continue, but I was not at the right IMO. So because of that, then I started looking for something. I basically took in June, we went to New Mexico by car from Texas, and then we took a vacation with my wife and my daughter. And then when we came back, I said, I'm gonna really concentrate on finding a good company. So I interviewed basically State Farm, farmers. I interviewed with everybody you could think of, and then somebody, I was almost chosen another company that works similar to Family First Life. Leads, I wanted leads. They were paying, they were independent, no upfront costs, things like that. But they were offering me basically 60%. And then when I heard about Family First Life, they told me, hey, you can start up at a higher comp than 60. And that was kind of like the breaker. Plus, the person that they told me to call was a good friend of mine that we sold books door to door when we were in college. And then
who was that?
Francis Lugitas.
Okay.
He was in the cruise. He was in the cruise too. So anyway,
yeah,
Francis basically told me about it, and I was like, I think I heard about that company. I actually contacted them back in April, and corporate called me because I really liked what they had to say in the Craigslist, and I was looking for something different because I knew that life insurance, but corporate called me and they said a recruiter will be calling you. No one ever called me, so I forgot about Family First Life, but I really like their setup. So somebody missed a good opportunity to recruit a good man.
Yeah, I wish I would have been able to, like.
I'm definitely worth the time for people. So you never know who you're gonna miss if you don't follow up with the leads. And
Absolutely.
then so that was, I basically started in July of 2020, and that was kind of like I started thinking I'm gonna go part time with this because my 27-year career of fundraising was what I knew what to do, and I was making about 150 to 200,000 a year, so I was kind of like I was comfortable, but didn't know that I could do better than that. And so I started, and then within 3 months I was already doing about 25-30,000 in a month. And then so I figure, but I was working it pretty much full time because the schools were closed. So
right.
That's when I kind of said, what about I think I can do this full time and make more than what I made before. Plus, it gives me a whole year, and I can build up an agency. That was the thing. I said I can build up an agency. I can see myself, and I did have that business mind from the beginning. So I've been in sales all my life. So that was very, very big for me. So I kind of knew, hey, if you put money in, you're gonna get money back. I knew that from the beginning. And so when they told me, hey, you now on average you can spend about $1,000 a week and you'll do very well here, I was like, when do I start making profit? They say is as soon as you start in the field, you can make a profit within 2 weeks. And I was like, whoa, my business, I had to take like 100,000 investment to make 150 in about 2 years down the road. So it was kind of like, it was a commitment of a lot of money, and rewarding wasn't that high. And it was
a lot of time.
That's all I knew is a lot of inventory, a lot of bull crap, and all this type of thing. So anyway, I love this. No inventory, no overhead. It was like, hey, I can make $1 million here. And make more than that. And like my mind just went like, woo, I need to do it. I just say I started at 57. So I basically say I just need to do it real hard. So my wife a year and a half into it, she told me, how long you think you're gonna keep doing this? Because I was going to people's home at the time. I was going and I was just working my butt off, like every morning, going, coming back. I mean, I had no family time. It was like very little. I was like killing myself because I wanted to succeed. I needed to make this happen. And long and behold, that was the start of.
That was the start.
I started just like everybody else. I started with final expense, mortgage protection. That was my first 6 months was 100% final expense, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And the main difference that I say to people is like, who's gonna follow what Shannon is telling you? Because this guy, he knows how to sell. He is done very well. So he can brag about people, but he's a very good leader and a very good producer. It's like, but who in here is following what he's telling you? Because if you're following what he's telling you, you're killing it. I guarantee you.
Well, I appreciate that, but you're the one killing it, bro. And you're truly an inspiration. And what I mean by that is, like, not only did you start late in life, like I started, like you, I left an industry. Well, I left the industry on my own volition. I was tired, right? I was a sales manager in the car business, but I was 53. And so when you're in your 50s, you're never too young, too old to do this, right? And one of the things that when we go into it, we start out at final expense, right? Not a lot of us are in a good position financially. Some are, but not for the majority. I think most aren't. So we have to overcome that hurdle of investing in leads. Now, so my question to you is what you alluded to before was that you were hiring a lot of people, but not many were sticking, right? And so do you think that people was it a belief problem, or were they afraid to invest in their business and then in themselves, do you think?
Well, in the other setup, it was a total different setup. It was more like you recruit, and then if you don't recruit at least 3 people, you don't move up.
Okay, so that was in the other company.
From day one, they told you something beautiful, and then the next day when they made they call it the onboarding, then they tell you, okay, you got to recruit. You start at 25% comp, and then in order for you to move to 35, you have to recruit 3 people, and then in order for you to recruit, it was always a recruiting part of that. And then so I was not told that in the beginning. I didn't mind the recruiting, but the problem was everything was like, hey, you gotta go make a list of family and friends, start calling them.
Call your friends, call your family, not get invited to any more barbecues, right? Because here comes Juan, he's going to recruit you, right?
So I was not for that. So I didn't follow what they were telling me about my friends and family, that part, because I said I don't want to. I've been through this road before.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's been through an MLM like that before, and then so I was like, I don't want to. My friends are very my family. I just don't feel. So I started posting on Craigslist and recruiting people. So I was interviewing daily, like 20 people, and just interviewing, and then just recruiting them. But when you present the presentation that they told me, it was easy for me to recruit. But the second day, when they saw the truth that they have to pay $35 every month to be part of it, and they have to basically start recruiting, people will say, that's not what I signed up for. And then so they quit. And then so it was kind of like I just didn't feel right. I felt like I was lying to people, and what I wanted to do was just the products,
Right.
I was telling, but it was no way. So I learned, appreciate that the person that introduced me got me thinking about life insurance. But this here is totally different. You buy leads, people that are actually looking for what we have. So where you're selling final expense or a mortgage protection, you got leads or an IUL. you got leads for the, or annuities, like anything, you got leads for everything, you know.
Exactly.
And the good thing is you can cross over from one place to the other, because everything is all about, are you doing the fact finding? When you're sitting with a person, if I'm sitting with Shannon, I'm gonna ask him, hey Shannon, what kind of deals do you have right now on retirement? Like, do you have such a thing as a 401k or anything like that? Do you have an IRA? And people are gonna say yes or no. They're gonna say, oh yeah, I do have something like that. I have all 401k that the last company I was with, I left it there. Say, cool. How much do you think you got in there? He said, oh, I don't have no idea. What's your guess? $10,000. I said, okay, cool. Or they may say 100,000. Guess what? That's an opportunity right away for a rollover on an annuity, and you can make easy money, and then you save. You're basically gonna be their best friend for the rest of your life because you did that, and you make some money on it. Now, some people, they learn into, because they ask that question, like my friends in some of my partners, basically in the business, they basically have asked that question inside people's home or with the client, and one of them had a $900,000 rollover because of that question. Well, he made close to $50,000 in commission right away. I mean, like you make it within a month and a half, so it's kind of like you make, and it's no chargeable. It's like beautiful.
Yeah, they don't charge back unless they die within that first year, and it's very difficult to get out of that annuity. It can happen. I've seen it happen. It's never happened to me, and so take note on that. That's a golden nugget right there. Just ask that golden question, right? What do you have that acts like life insurance in your full financial needs analysis?
Yeah,
So,
and if
and you never know what you're going to come across.
And if you don't feel comfortable about asking, like, hey, what do you have, like life insurance? We don't. I don't mention even the life insurance part of it. I just say, hey, what do you have for retirement? That's it.
Yeah.
401k, IRAs, anything like that, and then, or you have a big savings account like 100,000. What do you have? And then so it's like I just plug in, and then they say, I got this much and this much, and then I start taking my inventory, and then so I know what my possibility now. If somebody says I don't have any type of retirement, so if Shannon tells me I don't have any type of retirement, I have no money invested, and they say, so what's your plans on retirement? Are you think that you can live out of the Social Security? Is it no way? Social Security is going to be like $2,000. So what's your plan? Work all your life? What are you thinking? I says, I never thought about that. I says, would you like me to sit down with you and then kind of have a plan for that? Because we do on the side, we basically spend a little bit more time, but that will be on another appointment. Let's take care of your final expense right now, but I'll come back and help you with the planning of this, because we do have a great program that is going to help you save some money, and in the future you're going to get a tax-free break. Like every year you can pull out money tax-free. Will that help you? And then they say yes. Okay, great. Let's set up an appointment for a week from now. Will that be okay? Great. You set up an appointment for the future, and then you do your deal. You don't concentrate on something twice. You never make that mistake. Don't try to sell two things at the same time. People get confused, they don't buy. And you just sell your final expense, that's what you went for, and later on you come back and you set up that appointment.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know if everybody caught that, but I caught it, and the light bulb just went off. And so just like annuities, right? When we come across the annuity money, right, we don't freak out and try and sell the annuity right then and there, right? And we go ahead and we take care of the life insurance. Juan, you just said you found out an opportunity for Index Universal Life. You said, we're going to go ahead and take care of the life insurance right now. You find out what they qualify for, and you take care of the whole life or the term, whatever it is that you're doing. And then you're going back for the IUL? Did I hear that right?
An IUL is not seen nothing like life insurance. So it's basically a total different animal. So it is a life insurance policy, but it works different. So
Yeah.
the thing is, you don't want to present anything at the time. You don't tell them anything. You say, "Oh, I can help you," because you ask them enough questions where they say, "Oh, this guy knows what he's talking about." This guy, like, "Oh," and so I'm gonna help you with this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back because we actually have a separate program that specializes on tax-free retirement. And let me ask you this: with all the debt that the government is putting every year into this, you've seen that what's happening in the U.S. That debt, you think how are the taxes going to be in the future? Less or more? And everybody's going to say more. It says, now, how would you like a plan that will have tax-free income for the rest of your life? Oh, that would be amazing. And then some of them say, "Oh, Roth IRA." I says, "That's a very good one." I said, "Roth IRA is amazing." Now, a Roth IRA, you cannot touch your money, right? Until you're 59 and a half. If the market crashes like it did in 2000, like if you had $100,000 in 2000, okay, you had $100,000 in 2000, you went through your brokerage firm and then you basically grew your money, and then in 2008 it crashed again. Then you're back where you started. Then you go and grow your money, and 2013, that's when you actually had 100,000 again. So the people that had 100,000 in 2000, and then in 2013 they had the same $100,000 on a brokerage account. Now I tell you that, you think if that happens to you, how much of that money that you have right now are you willing to lose? And then they usually say, none of it. I don't want to lose anything. I says, how would you like us to show you how you can protect that money and grow it at the same time with the market, but you will not risk? And then you're talking about an annuity, a fixed index annuity. So an IUL and an annuity is totally different in one sense. One is kind of like a garage. So take a look at you have a garage, correct? And you can park any type of car that you want, right? That's pretty much the annuity. It's a garage, and you can park anything that you want. You can park cash, you can park a 401k, you can park an IRA. Some of them are qualified, some of them are non-qualified, but it doesn't matter. You can park the money there for about 7 years to 10 years. Recommended 10 years. Why? Because they give you bonuses. So the people put a money, like they put 100,000, you're gonna offer them a bonus of at least 10,000, at least 10%. Most of the carriers, some of the carriers, like I think they will offer sometimes more than that. And then so 15% or so, then that's pretty. I mean, if they lost money in the market, now you're asking them, hey, you just recuperate some money because you put it here. But if the market crashes, we're gonna do an indexing strategy. Now you're talking about both indexing strategy. That's IUL and FIA. FIA, I call it FIA because I don't like talking about annuities. Like I love talking to people about IULs and FIAs. And then I explain, what is an IUL? It's an index universal life. An index means index with an index like the S&P 500. When the S&P 500 goes up, you gain. When the S&P 500 goes down, then you don't lose. It's guaranteed to never lose any money. Guaranteed. Nothing else guarantees you that you're not going to lose any money. But this one, because it's an indexing strategy, we're not really investing into the market, but we're participating with the market. And how does the company makes money on an annuity? They don't charge any fees. How do they make money? On the spread. They put basically their money in like AAA bonds, which is something that we cannot do as individuals. We don't have billions of dollars to invest. These people have billions of dollars because they're collecting money from everybody. And what they do is they put it in safe places that gives them much more than what they're giving people. And that's the spread that they make. Okay. And that's simple. It's kind of like there's no risk. They got cash. So people say, how does it compare to a bank? I say, oh, let me tell you, you think that bank is good, but banks, actually, this is the method of a bank. You put $1,000 in a bank. 10% goes into liquid, 90% goes loans. That means they don't have any of your money anymore after you put it there. Okay, so when people ask for their money, guess what happened? That's what happened about 6 months ago in a California bank. People asked for their money, bank went bankrupt. They get scared, they ask for the money, they don't have the liquid. On a life insurance company, any life insurance company that takes money, they have to have, in order for them to be an A-rated company, they have to have more than 100% of their money. And every year, they're basically audited by the state, not by FDIC, by the state, because the state is scared that if they don't have that money, they gotta back it up. That's how powerful it is. It's like the company has to guarantee it, but the state in the back is guaranteeing that money. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like the safest place that people can have their money is in a life insurance program, and that's what banks keep their money also in life insurance. Is very safe. Typically, gains are anywhere from 6 to 10%. That's very much better than a lot of the places that they're putting money. They leave it in the bank on a savings account, they're making pennies. Then you teach them how they can grow that money, and they have growth. And within 10 years, their policies paid out if they max funded. So you can teach them how to do that. Like there's different things that you can teach people that have no idea. So now you became their money guy.
Yeah.
These people that you're talking to, they don't have the money to talk to a brokerage account, or some of them they never been, but they have $50,000. They're trying to retire. They're trying to do something. So now you became their specialist, you know, and you can basically help them. And if you don't know, you have a week to figure it out. You basically call the SRS team, and you can ask the specialist, and the ask the specialist is people that basically will jump. You can split it with people. So there's programs that you can split commissions with, like annuities people. I did one yesterday, 52,000. I'm not an annuity expert, I'm an IUL expert. So I brought in Silvana. Silvana is an annuity expert. She helped me close it right away. Now I sent to it, but I was the guy was asking me too many questions. I said, hey, Silvana, jump on it, just do it. She would just boom, 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 boom. Just like those annuity experts, they done many of these deals, and we have availability to those people. So how would you like to learn how to make money and learn annuities? The main thing is partner with somebody, partner with one of the experts. John Gavin is amazing. He is like the best. He trained Brad Allen, who is like #1 annuity, $10 million in annuities. So you want to become good at this business, use it 100%. Don't use your license for 20% of the license. Use your license for 100% of your license. Become
Exactly. We just did a training on that not long ago too, using 100% of your license, right? And not being, not being afraid to share, to learn, more about the business, because the idea is not to continually split business with, the IUL experts, the annuity experts. That's there to go ahead and give you on the job training. And you're going to go ahead and they're going to split the commission with you. And it's amazing. Right. So it's a great opportunity to go ahead and learn and earn.
I will say, if you do two deals, you should know.
There you go. Exactly.
And you record it. You cannot, I mean, like there's like the IUL, I will say you don't even have to split. The IUL is simpler. I mean, you just one. I mean, we have plenty of videos on how we do it. So it's kind of like that part is easy.
Yeah. Juan, let me ask you this, because time's quickly slipping away, man. You're dropping golden nuggets, right, along the way. So thank you. But let me ask you this. Now, you did not start as an IUL expert. You started in final expense. You graduated to mortgage protection. and then you went into the IUL game. Now, what do you think? Number one, I'm pretty sure that I know you educated yourself on this, right? Because you were in a different organization prior, so you needed to learn. So you're a student of the game. Am I right?
Right.
Yeah. Now, the next thing is your team is exploding. I was taking a look at your team's numbers, and the average agents, like the volume per agent is crazy, right? It's just crazy. But what do you believe the number one mistake for every agent that wants to get into the IUL game, because everybody here that's on this call wants to get into the IUL game? What do you think, or what's some of your advice to avoid the pitfalls early on that you feel are the mistakes that most agents make when they get into IULs?
Yeah. That is, I would say, it's just the normal. I don't see IUL much different than a final expense or mortgage, because the way I got into it, basically, I was selling mortgage protection second after final expense. So it was kind of like I learned that part. It's a little bit tougher to learn mortgage protection than final expense. Final expense is very, you go in and you
Cut and dry.
Coverage for when you die. That's pretty much the whole thing. On a mortgage, but there are a little bit more questions, a little bit more things. So I failed for a while trying to learn. So I was mixing like 60% final expense, 40% mortgage protection. So I was learning, and then until I talked to Shadi, and then Shadi told me, "This is the way you do it, man." And then so I was like,
"Oh, Shadi's awesome."
Like, okay, boom. Then the next day I sold 10,000. I'm like, whoa, yeah. So like, so it's like, yeah. So you can pick up on people that know the business better, and then I'm pretty sure Shannon has done all of those. So it's kind of like you pick up on your leaders, and like, hey, how do you present like this type of people? Then you just kind of like do it. But IULE was the first thing that I was introduced to. So if you never saw an IULE, then I would say start with that. Okay, IULE is Mutual of Omaha, and then now they have the IULE from Ethos. So Ethos has the same type of. Now you have two choices. One goes up to 1 million, the other one goes up to 300,000. And then so it's an IUL, but it's an express IUL. That means all you're doing is basically protecting. You're not really building much cash on that account. You're actually taking the minimum that you can. So it's more for mortgage protection. So I was doing it for mortgage protection. I was doing it, hey, instead of doing cashback option, I was doing IULE. And then so I was loving it. I won the trip to London with the IULE with Mutual of Omaha. But then somebody told me about the real IUL. And when I talked to a real IUL, I was like, ooh, I never seen that before. I said, oh, so you can actually build up an IUL where you can put max fund your IUL. So you can put as much as, like, in some of the cases, like you can put $1,000 or you can put $2,000 per month, but then you don't have a big life insurance policy. You can minimize the life insurance policy and maximize the cash growth. So there's two buckets in an IUL. One goes to pay life insurance. The other bucket goes to pay to grow your money. And the one that grows your money grows tax-free. So it's like, that's the key. And then so the more money you put here, the better for the client if they're trying to grow their money. Now, because you're not selling as much life insurance, your commission is lower. But let me ask you this. Will you be opposite to get paid like $1,500 to $2,000 on average every time you sell a policy if you're basically doing it in an hour or an hour and a half? That's pretty
I'm down for that.
That's basically what the IUL is. It's basically you get paid more because it's a bigger policy, but you're not, when you put $1,000, sometimes you're not going to pay $1,000 on the target because it's based on the target premium. And if you only focusing on how much money you put in your pocket, you're gonna be a short-term agent.
Amen to that.
you're only thinking about your pocket, and then people are gonna figure it out. You're not gonna be in business very long.
Yeah.
If you
And
want to, if you want to do a good thing for the client, then that's pretty much what you gotta do.
yeah, I also would say to that, and that's a great point. You're doing the right thing for the client versus what's right for you, because some will go ahead and put more towards the life insurance side of things on an IUL and to maximize their commission, right? And that's not the idea of this. IULs are really built for retirement, like you're saying, right? Now, but also at the same time, would you rather go ahead and get $1,500 to $2,000 a pop every time you help a client with higher persistency? Because the persistency on an IUL is floating around 90%. Am I right, Juan?
Exactly.
Yeah, so more business stays on the books, which means you're more profitable. So if you're selling the term for mortgage protection and you shift it over to, like Juan was saying, with a Mutual of Omaha IULE instead, which brings better value, which we're always talking about building value in the products that we sell and ourselves, you just killed two birds with one stone. You just built value for the client. They understand it. So when someone else, if you're selling the term, somebody else like Juan is going to come back and say, oh, well, that's great. I'm glad that you have the protection, but why didn't they show you this? Right. Mm-hmm. And then Juan's going to go ahead and get that, and you're going to end up with the chargeback, and he's going to keep the business. Right. So it's definitely a mindset shift there, and you'll keep a lot of business on the books. Now, Juan, do you think that, because everybody sees this shiny new toy, right, with Index Universal Life, and they want to hop on it, and I don't blame them at all. It's a progression in our business. We want to evolve, and we want to continuously get better and do the right things for the client. So we graduate from final expense mortgage protection to IULs. But here's the thing: we got this shiny new toy, folks, and not everybody's going to qualify for the Index Universal Life, right? Do you feel, Juan, that a lot of people just gravitate right to that without really understanding the underwriting guidelines, and they kind of get a little bit frustrated with it?
It can be. I would say it's very much like if they qualify for a cashback option, they're gonna qualify for an IUL. So it's very you can have a high blood pressure type of medication. You can even have metformin as a medication, but once you have like it's not, the IUL is not typically designed for a 70-year-old person, but the younger they start, the better. But that doesn't mean I do a lot of 50-year-old IULs, because there's people that don't have any type of savings. I tell them, hey, do you guys have any life insurance right now? And then they say, well, I don't really have life insurance. Then I'm taking care of both at the same time. I'm actually telling, hey, you're going to be protected. Something happens, your family is protected. But at the same time, all this money is saving right here. And then you're going to have access to that money in the future. So it says, if you put that money in the bank, when you die, the only thing that your family is going to get is that savings account. And they're going to fight for that. And then, so here, this is the way that we're going to set it up. And then they're going to be like, okay, that makes sense. Let me go ahead and do that. So people put $200 per month, $300 per month, $1,000 per month. So the way that you sell an IUL is totally different than a policy that you're selling right now, because it's not about the budget. Like when people say, hey, how much is this IUL going to cost me? I say, well, it's not about the cost. It's about how much you want to put every month towards your savings. So let me ask you this. What's the minimum amount that you can put every month towards your retirement? And what's the maximum amount that you can put per month towards your retirement right now? And then they say 200 to 500. So I'll start with a $500 max funded IUL. I design that and I show it to them. And then I say, now you can lower your thing to 200 and it should be okay. The only thing is, the more you put in, the better for you.
Right.
And I'm max funded for the maximum amount that they can put in, and then that doesn't lapse. I just take care of no lapse and basically no make. no make. I don't know if you guys don't
Right.
know.
Modified endowment contract, right?
So that's pretty much if you're going to a make policy, that means you're basically investing money, and then so now you're gonna be taxed on your money. So you don't want that to happen. That's the two rules, and that's it.
Yeah. Now you started out in home and gravitated to telesales, right? And
For sure.
and which, yeah, I did the same thing. And we're running a telesale. Everybody on here is pretty much all telesales, right? And so, what is your methodology as far as presenting the client the IUL? Are you doing a one call close, a two call close? Are you sending, like, if it's a one call close, are you sending the entire illustration? Or are you just like taking a snapshot? Like, I take a screenshot of the illustration and I text it to them and we go over it. Even I don't send an illustration right away, but I want to find out what you're doing because you're the expert. You're the one that's the number one guy in the company. I want to find out what you're doing. I want to emulate what you're doing. So tell us a little bit about that.
So a little different. I do everything via Zoom. So I don't do telesales because we're dealing with money that people are saving, things like that. So I don't wanna. I want them to understand 100% of what they're getting into, and then so I set up the appointment just like you set up an appointment on a mortgage protection. If you're going to people's home, if you haven't done an appointment like that, then I'm gonna make the appointment, then I'm gonna send them the Zoom link, and then I'm gonna show up. So when I show up on the Zoom link, I do a full load presentation. My presentation basically will last about 25 minutes fully. And then right after that, then I go into my close and then the application. So it takes me anywhere from, 50 minutes less to 1 hour and 15 minutes. Typically that's the average that, and then so I'm doing a one-time close. I'm not letting them, I'm gonna think about it or anything like that. You don't want, I'm the one that believes that people don't need to think about that. They need to see if they qualify first. So it's like, hey, we're not even, I know you're gonna think about it because that's very important, but let's see if you get approved first. Once you get approved, then we can start making that final decision.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's it. And then I move on to the application.
Okay. So you're doing all Zoom. So you're setting up the Zoom call. You're sharing your screen, showing the illustration, right? I'm like, I'm not really great at Zoom. I'm not good at that. I'm technically challenged, right? So
you're pretty good. You done this. I mean, like breakout room. I don't even know what a breakout room is.
Yeah. So I think it's really kind of all what you're comfortable with doing, right? If you're comfortable with Zoom, you're comfortable with telesales, whatever works. But I think it's the activity, right, that accounts for your success too. And speaking of activity, we have to have proper lead flow, right? Like workflow plus lead flow equals cash flow, right? That was a little bomb that Wiley Hawkins dropped on us last week, right? And Joe Basso was constantly, reiterating that as well. I think Wiley got it from Joe. But so you obviously have a great work ethic, and anybody that's hopping on your Zoom and they see all of these, certificates that you got in the background, they're obviously like, man, this guy must know what he's talking about, right? And so I can see why you're having great success there. But now I know how you're generating I heard what you did like last month with your leads, and I found it amazing, right? You started this business when you're 53, dude. You're old like me, right? And when you started, you did not have a Facebook following, from what I understand. And all of a sudden, 3 years later, you got over 500,000 followers on Facebook. Wow. And then I was trying, when I'm getting, yeah, you look like Shawn Michaels. Maybe I should shave my head to have the success that you guys are having. I don't think I'd look as pretty though. But like, that many followers. I was looking in your Facebook because that's what I like to do to try and get prepared, right? I like to find out what everybody's doing. You're like amazing. You're like rabid about your business. You're constantly putting out educational videos on IULs about the business. You share other people in the business what they're doing on social media. So it's not all about you. It's about the industry and it's about the client. And I understand you're generating a lot of leads now through your social media, right? And you keep your ROIs down low. But what type leads are you using that you do purchase? And how did you like, because now your lead cost is down pretty low because you're doing a lot of referrals, right? And that's a big goal, I think, for everybody. So how did you get to that social media following, number one, and then talk a little bit about the lead flow that you're currently investing in?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what TikTok was when I basically got started in this, and then so I I heard about TikTok. People were recruiting out of TikTok, so I said, and one of my friends, Dan Hatcher, he's 66, and then he opened a TikTok, and his daughter helped him out do a video. He had like 250,000 views in one video, and then he had like he recruited like 10 people out of that video. So I like,
Wow.
oh, it works. If for an older guy it works, I said, and then so I said, I gotta learn. So I asked my daughter. She says, forget about it. I'm not teaching you. You're too old. So I said, I'm gonna look for something else. And then so I basically finally opened up a TikTok account, and I started posting on TikTok. And if you see my first video, I think they're erased by now, but they were funny. I mean, I had no idea. I was jumping on the pool. This white guy jumping on the pool, like doing like this and doing like that. And I'm like, how do I attract followers? So I was not. I mean, I started no followers for a long time, very little followers, and then so until you figure it out, you start posting things, and then but the younger people, they know more, and then so they start faster. But the problem is they don't post enough. Like I was posting every day for like 8 months. I was posting, and laughing, people making fun of me, people doing this, people doing that. I didn't care. I don't care. They don't pay my bills. I want followers. I want something. And then finally, I figured this out. I said, oh, people don't care about recruiting. That was the first thing. I was trying to recruit people. But when I was talking about life insurance, people were like, oh, people like that. People are like, they want to be educated, but they don't want to be recruited. Because when you talk about recruiting, hey, come to my team, come to my team, come to my team. I don't care. What if this guy has value to me? But if you're educating people, people are like, let me listen to that. I never heard about that thing. Oh, this is good. Da, da, da. So we started educating people on social media about, and that's when the things start exploding. So basically now I have over 40,000 followers on TikTok and over 500,000 in Facebook. And it's kind of like I started, then I figured out how to do Instagram later. So it's kind of like that basically took off my business to another level. So it was kind of like people were requesting information. Hey, can you help me with that IUL? Can you help me with this? Can you help me? I mean, if I put anything about mortgage protection, people were calling me. Hey, can you help me with my mortgage protection? Can you help me with my final expense? So anything that you post, people will, if you educate them. But people, the problem is consistency. That's the problem. I mean, like no one, it's not gonna happen overnight. And then young people, they're great, but they don't have the tenacity of, they think that everything needs to be given to them right now, not tomorrow, but right now. And then so that's the problem. They don't want to post every day. They want to have results right away. And sometimes it happens, but majority of times it happens over 6 months to a year of posting. And then so when people start posting, then like this guy Austin Baker, I had the meeting with him yesterday or on Thursday. He basically is a newer guy, but he's younger and posting and educating, and he doesn't pay for leads. He doesn't pay for leads. He basically, and he's gonna sell $1 million first year. You know,
Wow.
so it's kind of like that. That he was in the cruise, so I follow him because I knew he was posting, but I didn't know how long he's been. So he looks like he's been in the business for a long time. Depot, I follow him for a long time, and Depot was the guy that I follow and learn from it. And then lo and behold, he was in the business shorter than me. So sometimes content, it doesn't matter as long as the content is good, that you're basically teaching people. And some of you have that talent to do a good video, and you're not using that. And I was bad about it, but then I figure that people don't care as long as you have a good content.
Right.
You target something that people want, they want to hear. Now there's a lot of people putting in social media. When I first started, it was, very few of us posting on social media about IULs. But now there's a lot of people, so competition is a lot more. So you're not gonna get the results that I got when I first started. But between the two things, you need to do that, and I basically pay for my ads now. So I put the videos that are good and then pay. And when people request information, it is basically also my face. They see me, and they're basically asking for me to call them. So I post IULs. I post IUL in Spanish. I post annuities. And if I wanted to sell mortgage protection, I would post one in mortgage protections you get. And I see that everybody that is doing ads is doing it from anything, final expense, whatever you want to do, but it's your face. So they put when you call them, you're the person on the video. That's important.
So consistency. How many times are you posting per day?
I was posting once a day. That in the beginning I was posting like 2 or 3 times a day. About 2 times a day, and then morning and evening. But then now I'm posting like once a day if I can. But I try to post different things. Like if I see Shannon, he posted something real cool about National Life Group payout, blah 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 blah. So if I see something cool, I'm gonna forward.
I saw you share that.
Then I'm gonna share that. So if I see somebody else, I'm gonna forward. So that will be the least amount of things that I do in a daily basis. I'll try to or I put about my family if I have an event, or if we do a cruise, thing like that. I posted things. So I'm a real person. I'm not just selling IULs. I'm a real guy, and people know. They're like, oh, I like this guy. He kind of sounds. Every time I talk to people, say, man, you're very real. And then so I say, okay, good. They're ready to do business. I mean,
you are a real guy, man. I love you, dude. Like, I'm stealing your content. Like I told him, I let him know I love your content. I texted you. I'm stealing your content, by the way. I'm an honest thief, I think I said. So you're not concerned about sharing other people's content. You're not worried about potential clients going to other people. You're concerned. You're a true servant leader. You just want to go ahead and serve people. And that's our mantra here at Tri-State: serve the people. You just want to educate others. And you are a real guy. And I want to end on this because, number one, thank you so much. I know that everyone got incredible value here today. And I'd love to have you back on again because there's several other things that we really need to unpack, but I want to be respectful of your time, Juan. Now, but you are a real guy. And the one thing that I did find on your page, you and I actually have, not only do we have, we're old, we have that in common. We're both in the life insurance gig. We want to go ahead and be the best, in business. We're competitive, but you're also a dog lover. Me too. And I want to know that cute little guy that you got. Is it Louis? Liu? I think his name.
Louis. Yeah?
Oh, what a cute dog. I saw that last night and I showed it to my wife when we got back from our awards dinner. I said, Juan is a dog person.
I used to have a pug too, Mimi. Yeah. So we had 2, and then so it was funny because Louis and Mimi, they were totally different, but then Louis thought Mimi was his mom, and then
Yeah.
so he acted just like a pug everywhere, and then so it was so funny because it's a Chihuahua.
The Chihuahuas are awesome. I gave my son a Chihuahua.
Oh.
And so last year when my son moved in with us, he moved from Minnesota and he stayed with us for about 6 months. He said, Dad, can I stay with you for until we get a house? I said, sure. So we had my wife and I had, my son, his wife, and my granddaughter, and the Chihuahua. And I've got boxers. And this little Chihuahua was running the house, man. He just that's awesome. I would say post more dog stuff. I want to see more dog stuff, man. But Juan, you're awesome. I would, if you don't mind, I know it's 10 o'clock.
No, that's okay. I got time.
But I would like to open up the floor for, like 2, maybe 3 questions. Let's kind of limit it, guys, because Juan has, graced us and I want to be respectful of his time. But let's go ahead and get a couple of questions. Just go ahead and unmute. And go ahead
Shannon.
and questions.
Hey, Shannon. How you doing,
Hey,
man?
John.
Mr. Franco, how are you? John Mazzella here.
Hey, John, what's going on, man?
Not much, my man. Hey, Juan, real quick, how much are you investing in your Facebook ads and your social media? When you said that you pay for your ads, what does that look like?
Well, right now, I'm basically probably spending about $4,000 a month on ads, but then out of that, I probably $4,000 or $5,000 in ads. But then I do part of recruiting. I do an ad for FIA. So out of all of those, and then I even give leads. I basically for a couple of agents that are newer or something like that. So if I need to help people to get them going, then I basically have that. And then so I follow. So if you do a good ad, I mean, I don't know. When I was in Final Expense, I was spending $10,000 a month on leads, and that's how I hit Hall of Fame. And then so for me to spend $3,000-$4,000 and hit a lot more than that is much, is a great, so I will say, if your budget is, I mean, I have agents that their budget is like $200 a week, and then I have agents that their budget is $1,000 a week. So $1,000 a week will make you a lot of money if you know how to do it. And I don't know, you can find people that will actually do it for you, like are experts on that. If you know how to do it, because there's people like if you done a recruiting ad, it's the same thing. You do it for the same way. So I see a lot of Family First Life and agents that post things like that, like they call it sponsored ads.
Right. Like I've been following you ever since we hung out in London together, right? I've been following you, and I'm noticing the FIA ads that you have. So what do? You just put it on Facebook, and then Facebook asks you if you want to advertise it, and then you choose how much you want to put into that?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I am not the guru on that part. I basically pay somebody to do it, so it's kind of like I basically
makes sense. Okay,
because you can do it yourself. So like Dan Hatcher and myself, we're older guys, and we always say, if we can pay for it, we're not gonna learn it. We're just gonna pay for it because we're basically, we want to sell. We want to be in front of the clients. That's it. That's it.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you, Juan. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, John. Anybody else?
Juan, real quick. Just wanted to ask, like, as far as like, is there a certain background that you're in, or is it, when you're making the videos, is there like what I mean? Like, is there a certain environment that is better than others, or it doesn't really matter?
Yeah, great question. Is that William? So what I try to do is lighting is good. So if you, in the beginning, I didn't know that, but if you have good lighting, it'll be better. So you know, just choose. Don't choose a place that looks dirty or looks not appealing. You want to look at like a place that it looks a little bit either that you're in an office or that you're in a nice part of your home. So choose a place that you feel like people are not gonna see, like, because you're trying to show them that they can become something better. And then so if you show them a place that is not very good, they're not gonna be like, I don't want that kind of life.
Yeah, right. Makes sense.
That's a
Okay.
great
No,
question.
that makes sense.
I saw somewhere on that was advertised on Facebook or Instagram about studio lighting, how you can go ahead and create, you know, that perfect atmosphere. And that's a great question, William. It really is, because that's something that we think that we need to go ahead and put an ad out there and get our content out, right? But we want to do it, like Juan says, in a
But
professional
I do
way.
it. All you need is your phone. I mean, like I did it for about over a year. All I did was my phone. I had no lighting. I had no microphone. I had not until a little bit later when I started doing a little bit more professional videos. But the followers that I got are mainly from this. So if you look natural, then you just do thing. But if you have some technology and you can, you know, use one of those programs, like I don't have that, then you can fix it up. You know, like my nephew's 42 and he cuts things and he does these things, and I'm like, oh my god, you can make a killing here. Like people can do that. I'm like, oh my god, if I could do that, I have like $3 million, 3 million followers. You know, like I'll have more followers because I could do so much more. But it's just all you need to do is just post, make sure it's good content, target a niche. You know, if your niche is like I have a girl. She's so smart. She basically she's from Haiti, and then so what she did is she basically started Facebook with her language. I don't know. They speak like French,
Yeah.
wow, whatever they call it, and then they go and she does all the things, and then she gets into people, and then she's selling almost 2 or 3 policies per week without spending any money to the Haitian community. So everybody's calling her, hey, I want to find out about the IUL. I want to find out about, because she talks in her language.
Brilliant.
So it's fun, like niche. Just think about like, what are you, William? You're probably, you know, think about who you relate to. Think about your niche, your age, your everything is like, think about all that. That's who you wanna target. People that will relate to you right away.
Yeah, your brand. That's awesome. Great advice.
Thanks, man.
Now, if I want to dovetail off that, and then I want to have one more. So with your social media content, what's your time limit? Because we don't want to be too wordy on this. Are you limiting your content at 60 seconds and under, or
90 minutes.
90 minutes?
90 seconds. I'm sorry, 90 seconds. I'm sorry, 90 seconds.
90 seconds. Okay, 90 seconds. Okay,
90
got
seconds. So now Facebook used to limit it to 1 minute, and now they're limited to 90 seconds. So if you a reel, so what you want to do is put reels, and then so they limit you to one. Now, if you want to do a long video, post it on TikTok. TikTok will allow you any type of length, and then so you can do some very, very educational videos on TikTok if you're that kind of person. But you can limit it to 90 seconds, and then that will go on your Facebook and then on your Instagram. But like I say, you can post one in all 3 faces, and then the other place is the, what is it called? YouTube.
it. YouTube.
The shorts. I haven't got into much of those, but I know there's people that do it extremely well with those too.
Yeah, we're learning about that as we speak, and you can monetize that as well. I'm learning about that. You can monetize your reels, and we're running a business. So let's think about that. If we're going to go ahead and take our time and share content and bring value to the masses, why not, monetize it, right? So I thought that was pretty intriguing. But we get paid very, very well. I don't think we're going to get paid as well as in with YouTube Shorts as we do in life insurance. That's for sure. All right, one more quick question. Going once, going twice.
I have one.
There's Al.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Franco. How are you?
Hey, morning, Al.
I just had a question. You were talking about explaining insurance in another language. Did that add to your success? Explaining in 2 languages.
I should have done it, Al. If I could go back into it, I was not smart enough to figure that out. I should have started doing a Spanish channel right away, because I had a lot of Hispanic community following me, but I knew the target was the whole United States, so it was kind of like I didn't want to. And then so I was doing everything in English, but then people knew that with my accent I was Hispanic and my name Juan. So it's kind of like I had a lot of clients, but I did not do like what the lady from Haiti did that was so specific. So because you got a lot of competition right now, people doing the same thing, I will say if you want to differentiate from people, you do something more narrow to people that no one else is doing. So figure out what is your niche that you can penetrate and teach them something. And if you know a different language, or if you know something that is kind of like from your area, is like that will be a channel that people will start following. Now it's not gonna be overnight, like I said.
That's a great question, Al. Al's, you can probably tell he's Irish American.
Yeah, I know, man.
No, that's a great point, Al, because the Filipino community is awesome, and you start doing that in Tagalog, man, you're gonna skyrocket. Juan, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time out to pour into the tri-state team, and for everything that you do within FFL. You're amazing, and I want to be like you when I grow up, and I'm only 2 steps behind you, right? And I know that there's a lot of others that young or old, man, you're everything that you do brings incredible value. Thank you so much. I appreciate you on behalf of the entire team here in FFL. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you,
Juan.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Franco.
Thank you, Juan.
Trip.
Thank you so much for the information.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Go crush the day. Go crush it. IULs, baby. Remember, it mirrors term underwriting. They qualify for a term, more than likely they're going to qualify for this. So I hope y'all got a lot of value-added content from it. And we'll see you on the flip side next week.